morning and welcome to the Citadel, ladies and gentlemen and graduates. We will open our commencement exercises with the invocation by the Right Reverend C. Fitzsimmons Allison, Episcopal Bishop of South Carolina. Please remain standing after the invocation for the national anthem to be played by the Citadel Band. Bishop.
Let us pray. O eternal God, through whose mighty power our fathers won their liberties of old, grant, we beseech thee, that we and all the people of this land may have grace to maintain these liberties in righteousness and in peace. Grant to us all thankful hearts for the example and dedication of all who have helped shape and sustain this incomparable institution. Amen.
Please be seated. This is a great day. We've even arranged for a little cloud cover so that our friends here in the sun won't get too hot. That sounds good, and I'll take credit for it in any event. Delighted to welcome each of you here. This is a proud day for all of us, especially for those young people, these great young men waiting to receive their diplomas, and their families who are gathered from all corners. The Citadel is always honored and pleased to have at our graduation exercises some honored guests, and we have those today. It's now my pleasure to introduce them. First, Major General Richard A. Gustafson, United States Marine Corps, Commanding General 2nd Marine Aircraft Wing, Cherry Point, North Carolina, our commissioning ceremony speaker. General. The Honorable John Rama, State House of Representatives. Would you stand, please, as I call, so our audience can see you. The Honorable Joseph P. Riley, Citadel Class of 1964, Mayor of Charleston, South Carolina. The Honorable Richard. Graduation Day places the spotlight on the central characteristics of this early college, its academic life. Central to that life is the faculty of the college who transmit the knowledge of their disciplines and whose scholarship adds to that knowledge. Seated on the platform is the academic board, composed of the chief academic officer of the college and the academic department heads. Will the academic board please rise and be recognized? A hand, please, folks. It is also my pleasure this time to recognize these Citadel faculty who are seated to my right. These extremely dedicated and competent ladies and gentlemen constitute the heart of this, our beloved institution. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand, be recognized. And a hand to them. We're particularly honored this year in the presence of 3 outstanding individuals who will receive honorary degrees. The honorary degree is the highest award which this college gives to any individual. The Board of Visitors has approved the awarding of honorary degrees to the following distinguished individuals. Mr. Richard Hampton Jenrette, the Honorable Robert Neal McClellan, Mr. Roger Milligan. Before I read the first citation, I request that Colonel Risher, Chairman of the Board of Visitors, and General George Minahan, Vice President for Academic Affairs, come forward to assist me. I will read an abbreviated version of the citation, but I urge that you read in your program the complete citations of these distinguished South Carolinians. I will now read the citation of Mr. Jenrette. Sir, will you please come forward? Richard Hampton Jenrette, patron, executive philanthropist, in recognition of his accomplishments and leadership at the pinnacle of American business, in tribute to his many contributions to education, the arts, and historic preservation, and in gratitude that we claim him as a South Carolinian, the Citadel is pleased to bestow upon Richard Hampton Jenrette the degree of Doctor of Laws. Mr. McClellan, would you please come forward, sir? As an executive and leader in the insurance industry, and in tribute to his personal example of one who has turned adversity into triumph, the Citadel is honored to bestow upon Robert Neal McClellan the degree of Doctor of Laws. Mr. Billiken, would you please come forward, sir? And in gratitude for the many opportunities he has presented the people of South Carolina and the graduates of this college, the Citadel is pleased to bestow upon Roger Milligan the degree of Doctor of Laws.
The Board of Visitors elected to bestow one more honorary degree, which is most fitting at this time. General Grimsley, please come forward. I'll now read the citation for the President of the Citadel. James Alexander Grimsley, Jr., educator, soldier, patriot, in recognition of his extraordinary service and devotion to the United States of America, to the state of South Carolina, and to the Citadel, in token of the simple fact that the Citadel has received more than she ever bestowed upon this son, and in acknowledgement of his deep and abiding love for the South Carolina Corps Cadets, the Citadel is honored to bestow upon James Alexander Grimsley, Jr. the degree of Doctor of Humanities. military career, Major General James A. Grimsley, Jr., referred to as Alex by his friends, needs little embellishment. A veteran of combat in 2 wars, he was wounded 3 times in action and twice decorated with the Silver Star. He led combat units from platoon to division and held various staff positions, including service on the staff of the Secretary of Defense. His talent and abilities in these challenging and responsible duties were recognized by award of the Distinguished Service Medal. Of course, his leadership was recognized with promotion to higher and higher grades, ending with promotion to Major General in 1974, capping a distinguished military career lasting 33 years. I've only touched upon the highlights of Alex's military service because I prefer to think of those years as having served a dual purpose: the obvious service to our nation and the not quite so obvious preparation for his greatest challenge, the presidency of the Citadel. From 1975 to 80, he served as Vice President for Administration and Finance, resigning in June 1980. But he was recalled 2 months later to become the president. From that date, the college has enjoyed unparalleled improvement, emerging not only unscathed but strengthened from several crises. And we look forward to the next decade under his successor with a confidence unmatched in our history. I'd like to cite several examples which illustrate what we've achieved under Alex's leadership. In the last decade, we've seen the qualifications of this faculty, the very heart of the college, become the match for any institution. Slightly over 50% of the faculty had doctorate degrees when Alex came to campus. Today, that figure is 90%. In spite of a national decline in the number of college-age applicants, each year of this decade, the quality of applicants to the Citadel is improved. This quality is reflected in our retention and graduation rates, which is the highest in the state. The lucky few who do enter find a modern, comprehensive liberal arts curriculum allowing the cadet to choose one of 14 academic majors. There's an honors program for the gifted. Academic instruction is presented in modern classroom facilities with up-to-date equipment. Right now, there are $26 million committed to renovation or new construction on this campus. Our evening and graduate programs have likewise prospered, growing from 900 students in 1980 to over 1,400 last semester. Of course, paralleling the academic excellence is the military regimen, the rigorous cadet lifestyle we so firmly believe challenges, motivates, and matures our cadets. Here, too, General Grimsley's guidance has proved beneficial. He strengthened the role of cadet leaders while eliminating anachronisms and preserving the vitality and vigor of the Corps cadets. A staunch supporter of athletics, he rarely misses a game. Our one-loss record has improved in all sports, but in the ultimate measure of what is important, our athletes graduate. A major factor in the college's achievements has been the extraordinary financial support that our nation, our state, our city, and above all, our beloved alma mater are much improved because of yours and Jesse's lives. And I think our audience will join me in agreement. U.S. Army retired, President of the Citadel.
Colonel Richard, members of the Board of Visitors, distinguished platform guests, members of the Academic Board, other members of the faculty and staff, families and friends, members of the Corps Cadets, and especially class of 1989. Thank you very much, sir, for those most generous remarks. Very humbling, certainly not deserved, but I won't ask you to take them back. At the outset, let me express my deep appreciation to the Board of Visitors for the high honors bestowed on me yesterday, that splendid review by these great young men and those under them, and today. No son of the Citadel could ask for greater recognition, and I am most grateful. Permit me now to present the individual who really deserves these awards, that great, gracious, and loving lady who loves the Citadel as much as I, my wife, Jessie. Jessie, sit down. Last fall, Cadet David Black, senior class president, met with me to determine whom we should seek to address the class of 1989 today. On his list were such notables as then President Ronald Reagan and Vice President George Bush, former President Richard Nixon, and Lee Iacocca. Look who the class ended up with. I'm sorry, fellas. Incidentally, some of those individuals I mentioned command a speaking fee of $15,000 to $20,000. I decided not to request an honorarium from the Board of Visitors for making this address. Besides, it would be embarrassing when the board stopped payment on the check. Developing my remarks, I considered several courses of action. One, I could follow the advice I read of recently by a news columnist concerning graduation addresses. Start with a joke, acceptable in public, be brief, and sit down. Or I could follow the lead of Bob Hope, who recently told a college graduating class, and I quote, "I was asked to give you advice on going out in the real world. Don't," end quote. And he sat down. Only Bob Hope did about something like that. Finally, I could become quite nostalgic and mix a lot of sentiment with rhetoric and philosophy, the whole man concept and all that stuff. I should do none of the above. Rather, for a brief few minutes, I plan to aim my remarks directly at the class of 1989 and then close with some thoughts pertinent to all in attendance. If I may add here, for you young men who were commissioned about an hour ago, you will hear some of the same words that General Gustafson used. You may call it the military mind. I like to call it, both of us, stressing, not only to the military, those going into active duty in our armed forces, but all of you graduates. Those ideas which have stood the test of time, which certainly in his opinion and mine, all others who think through these things must stand the test of time for this great nation as we know it to become better. And you're in the driver's seat to help out on that. To the class of 1989, whether you want to or not, in approximately 90 minutes you will enter the real world that Bob Hope mentioned. A world which is crying for genuine leaders in all sectors and all levels. You can provide that critical ingredient of leadership because you have these Citadel experience. You've been tested, you've faced adversity, you've been tempered, and you have succeeded up to this point. And that, gentlemen, is my primary injunction to you this morning. You must prove yourself over and over again because the real world, with the sorry spectacle from Washington, D.C. to Cottesville, South Carolina, of graft, bribery, double standards, and situational ethics, if it ain't illegal, then it's okay to do it, regardless of the moral or ethical value which is ignored, with the unfortunate, in my judgment, the unfortunate conventional wisdom in so many quarters, that the lowest common denominator concept is right, because that makes it easy for everybody. That's the arena. Wherever your piece of turf is, gentlemen, that's the arena you will enter. What do? Simply this, my friends. Draw on your Citadel experience. First, never lower the ethical and professional standards which govern your everyday life. The minute you fail to insist on a standard being met, or when you do not do your utmost to meet that standard is immediately lowered. That's bad. Next, accept responsibility for your actions and for your personal and professional performance. Be a man. Stand up and be counted if you have blown it, have the moral courage to say so. Then have the fiber and pride to pull up your socks, correct your mistakes, and grow from the experience. Accept responsibility to those under you, their training and performance. Remember always that loyalty works both ways, up and down. Set the example. Finally, continue to develop that single most important trait, integrity. Without integrity, all else is for naught. Nourish that integrity, which connotes an honorable man, a disciplined man, a man of character. This world of ours is prime for such a man. Having said these things, I can state affirmatively that today, on this campus, this is a happy occasion, because very shortly the Citadel will send over 400 young men into this mixed up but exciting world as beacons of responsible, disciplined leadership. Men who have met high standards these past 4 years, men of integrity. As long as you gentlemen continue to draw on your Citadel experiences, forgetting not from whence you came and what you learned and experienced, and as long as you lead the way in your respective fields of endeavor, you will be successful. And this great institution can state without equivocation that we have accomplished its mission in your behalf. Some things change, some things never change. As the Corps knows, I frequently visit Reveille Formation, which our visit is 6:30 in the morning. A few weeks ago, I stood in the side board of Patty Thomas Barnes right after the first call at dawn. It was one of those glorious early mornings in the low country in the spring, with the sky beginning to lighten, a bit of cool in the air, and mist rising off the gray ground. The fourth classman was double-timing into quadrangle, the upper classman was barking at him with brace, moved smartly, breakfast shirt tucks. The color detail was standing at attention by the flagpole, prepared to raise the national color at Reveille. Good officer of the day reported to me, one of the outstanding young men in this class of 1989. As did the officer in charge for the day, an Army major in the Citadel class of 1972. One of the fine group of active duty personnel here on ROTC duty. They informed me that the evening before had been quiet, and they also commented on the large number of cadets in all classes using the computer labs in Bond Hall, Capers Hall, and Latoya Hall during the evening study period. The Army major remarked on the physical plant changes on campus since his graduation in 1972, and the cadet captain noted that he was relieved that he would graduate on 13 more before the revised academic corps curriculum would be put into effect this coming September. Then reveille sounded, the flag went up, and the companies were marched to breakfast. I commented to my two young companions that some things change, some things never change, and they agreed. The computer laboratories and the use during the evening study period, the additions and renovation of the physical plant, the toughened academic curriculum were all changes for the better, reflecting the dynamism of the Citadel in the 1980s. But the balance of that morning's event had the same meaning to every cadet in formation on the 4 quadrangles as they did to that cadet leader in the class of 1989, to the active duty graduate of the class of 1972, and to this old-timer of the class of 1942. Indeed, the picture of that reveille formation I've described would be fully understood by every Citadel man, whether he matriculated at the old Citadel on Marion Square or out here. These practices, these traditions reflect the continuity and the heritage of this institution that sets it apart. Most recognize this as the Citadel spirit. Some things never change. God willing, I hope that they never will. For the Citadel spirit is present. It is real. It binds together the Corps of yesterday and today and tomorrow. It is embodied in the Corps cadets, the centerpiece of this great institution. May it always be so. It is in support of this vision of the Citadel that Jesse and I pledged our total selves in service 9 years ago. We shall always be deeply grateful for that opportunity given us. men and the spirit and enthusiasm and affection they have shown us. Now it's time to say goodbye. It's time for this old soldier to say farewell to the Corps, and I do so with sadness, but with so many happy memories. I've had an abiding and deep-seated love affair with the Corps cadets, and my 9 years as president have been the happiest of my 45 years of public service. It is time for me to take official leave of the Citadel. And that hurts, but I do so with the anticipation of having many additional opportunities in the future to work for my alma mater. And it's also time for me to say goodbye to these seniors assembled here today, the last class I shall graduate. Fortunately for me, my sense of loss at leaving the Corps and the Citadel is tempered by my pride in graduating again with the class of 1989. Gentlemen, I salute you. Good friends, here and wherever members of the Citadel family are, I hope that you will permit me to use that wonderful statement by St. Paul to his young friend Timothy as my valedictory as president of Citadel. I've fought a good fight, I've finished my course, I've kept the faith. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Valedictory, but for those years of your lives that you and Jesse have given to this institution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I got rid of that thing. I didn't want to be out of uniform too long. Very proud of it, of course. We got to get down to work now, and let's get on with what we're really here today. Diplomas and degrees. That's why you're here, isn't it? When I come to the presentation of special awards, in essence, a college is a place for teaching and a place for learning, and so it is most appropriate that the first award of the day be the scholarship medal. Each year, this medal is awarded to the senior who has attained the highest academic standing in the class based on the total college record. The medal will be presented by Colonel David S. Boyd, Jr., member of the Board of Visitors. The recipient is Cadet Joseph Murdoch Sadler. Mr. Sadler.
This year's honor graduate entered the Citadel 4 years ago as his class recipient of the Star of the West Scholarship, the most prestigious award given to any member of an entering class. His performance during his cadet career proves that the scholarship committee made a very wise choice. He has achieved a perfect 4-year grade point, cumulative grade point ratio of 4.00 as a chemistry major. In addition to his outstanding classroom achievements, he's found time to hold rank in each of his upper class years, was a member of the junior sword drill, was named a distinguished military student. Because of his outstanding record at the Citadel, he has received an impressive number of fellowship offers from first-rate universities from coast to coast of this great nation. He has chosen to begin a PhD program in chemical engineering at Stanford University. I know that he will be a great credit to the Citadel as he pursues his education. Joe, I want you to continue to please set your goals high and pay the upfront price to accomplish. Thanks, sir. Thank you.
The coveted John O. Wilson ring given each year in honor of the late Dr. Wilson to the first classman voted by his classmates, the manliest, purest, and most courteous of his class, will be presented by Colonel George C. James, winner in his senior year, member of the Board of Visitors. The class of 1989 recipient of the John O. Wilson ring, voted so by his classmates, is stand you clap. Clap.
Ladies and gentlemen, this year's winner of the John O. Wilson Ring is an outstanding example of the Citadel's whole man. As a business administration major, he is graduating with a cumulative GPR of 3.07. In his freshman year, he was a member of the varsity baseball team. As a sophomore and junior, he held positions of responsibility in the Corps of Cadets. And in his senior year, he has worked to establish an on-campus radio station. He was selected by his classmates to serve as a class officer in his sophomore and junior years, and this year he is president of the senior class. His classmates have now given him their ultimate vote of confidence by awarding the Wilson Ring to this young man, Cadet David Andrew Platt. Ladies and gentlemen, I call to your attention the prerequisites for this award, as you will read in your program and as you heard General Grimsley say a moment ago. This award is presented to David, a member of the first class, by his classmates, having been voted by them to be the manliest, purest, and most courteous member of the class. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an award of extreme distinction. And David, I congratulate you. Don't go yet. I'll save this to last. As you are probably aware, it has become a tradition that last year's recipient of the award sends a telegram to this year's recipient. I'm going to hand you this telegram, and you can publish it as you see fit. Sometimes it's dangerous to read things publicly without having them read prior. So congratulations again to you, David. Good luck to you.
Algernon Sidney Sullivan, American jurist, statesman, orator, has been memorialized by the New York Southern Society for, quote, constant helpfulness to his fellow man, an immaculate life, and never failing fidelity to public and private trust. Sullivan lived in 1826, died in 1887. At selected institutions over the country, awards bearing his name are given to those whose deeds make it deserved. We're happy to present awards to men who have exemplified the traits which distinguished Mr. Sullivan. Two individuals selected for this honor by a faculty committee and approved by me are Captain John Stanford Cousins, United States Naval Reserve, retired, and Cadet John Moss Painter. Will Captain Cousins and Cadet Painter please come forward? I will read an abbreviated citation. Gentlemen. The Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award is bestowed upon Captain John Stanford Cousins in recognition of his devotion and distinguished service to the South Carolina Corps Cadets, his colleagues on the faculty and staff of the Citadel, his nation, church, and community. Particularly sensitive to the spiritual well-being of cadets, Captain Cousins has served for many years as advisor to St. Albans Chapel. As advisor of the Honor Committee, he has held for a number of years one of the most critical and important assignments for a Citadel professor. Demands sensitivity and impartiality, and awareness of the strengths and limits of tradition, honesty and openness, and unquestioned integrity. These are embodied by Captain Cousins. As head of the History Department, he has guided the development of a model undergraduate curriculum for history majors, a respected graduate program, and the new core curriculum. He was elected chairman of the Faculty Council in 1973-74 and serves as Grand Marshal for commencement ceremonies. An appreciation for his loyalty and for his impassioned service to his students, friends, and colleagues, the Citadel is proud to present Captain John Stanford Cousins the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award. Captain Cousins. The Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award is bestowed upon Cadet John Moss Painter in in recognition of the outstanding religious characteristics evinced by his dedication to the welfare of others. Cadet Painter has rendered exceptional service to the South Carolina Corps Cadets and the community as regimental religious officer. Holding a Citadel Development Scholarship, he is on the Gold Star list, signifying outstanding achievement, and his name was selected to appear in Who's Who among students in American colleges and universities. In his role as president of the Citadel Religious Council, Cadet Painter has displayed exceptional leadership. He assisted in establishing a program in which cadets comfort fellow students who have suffered a death in their immediate family, and he promoted the organization of a cadet visitation program wherein the sick in Murray Infirmary and in local hospitals are visited. In recognition of his many contributions to his fellow cadets, his dedication to the South Carolina Corps Cadets, and his unswerving devotion to Christian principles of love and service, the Citadel is proud to present the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award to Cadet John Moss Painter. Last year, I established the President's Award for Teaching Excellence, an award to recognize the outstanding performance each year by a member of the faculty for teaching excellence and support of working with students. Professor Bland Mathis won that award last year. Upon the recommendation of the Faculty Council, a student committee chaired by the Regimental Academic Officer and proposed cadets, evening college students, and graduate students selected the faculty member who best met the criteria of excellence in teaching and having a superior relationship with students. I'm happy to announce the recipient this year is Captain Richard T. Kripke, United States Naval Reserve, Professor of Business Administration. A native, if you come forward, please, Captain. A native of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, award for teaching excellence. Yep. It's my pleasure to again ask Cadet David Platt, Senior Class President, to come forward and make the response for the class of 1989. Mr. Platt.
Good morning, General Grimsley, members of the board, distinguished guests, faculty and staff, parents and friends, and of course my fellow classmates. This won't last long. Actually, I rehearsed it this morning. It's about 5 minutes. 4 long years ago, when we entered the Citadel as freshmen, we were tired and hungry. It's now 4 years later, and we're still tired and hungry. But tired and hungry in a different sense. We're ready to get out and explore what the world really has to offer. 4 years ago, we did not know all the expectations of the Citadel, and now we don't know what to expect outside of the gates, but we're better educated. When we arrived here 4 years ago, we didn't know what life here was about. But what I'll tell you, it was a culture shock. I remember every morning, I'd wake up, jump down off the top bunk, and my roommate and I would look at one another and ask, what in the world are we doing here? Sometimes I'd call my parents, sometimes my girlfriend's parents, and sometimes my friends, and I'd ask them the same question, what in the world am I doing here? My mother usually offered a care package or something of the such. Then there was my dad who would tell my mother to keep the conversation on the phone short because the phone bills were getting outrageous. and stamps were only a quarter. Our friends who didn't start school until late September, they were the worst ones to talk to because they talked about how much fun they were having before school started. While we slaved away at the Citadel in 105-degree heat, bald and skinny. But we made it through. And I can honestly say that after 4 demanding years, we have completed a bachelor's degree from the toughest school in the nation. Most people in our audience today are parents or friends of a cadet and alumni. And they can tell you about a typical day in the life of a cadet through their own eyes. Day in, day out, cadet life is a challenge. Trying to make it through a day without getting in some sort of trouble is virtually impossible. Failing an assignment, or completing an assignment on time, or losing a girlfriend. All these are things a cadet deals with every day at the Citadel. We know that if we don't go to class, or we get too many demerits, we might as well forget about leaving campus for the weekends, because there's nothing we can say to Colonel Dick. Let me tell you a story. good friend of mine who's sitting right out here, his graduating day, had a job interview with a company he wasn't really that enthused about. He really didn't care too much about working for. But he wanted to get the interview experience. And he sat there in front of this man who was trying to recruit him. And the recruiter looked at him and asked him the question, what are the daily activities and routine things that you do as a cadet? And then after that, tell me what you do as a freshman. And my friend told him the details. And after about a half hour, after 30 minutes of telling the ins and outs of everyday life as a cadet, the recruiter looked at him and said, oh, that reminds me of when I pledged my fraternity. Well, you know, we cadets know how we feel about that, and that's the reason why I told this story. There is no comparison. And my friend, even though he was a little disgruntled, he maintained his composure. And he looked at the recruiter and said, you know, it may seem like pledging fraternity, but I tell you, I'd like to see you pledge this fraternity for 4 years. We started with 650 classmates back in 1985, and now in 1989, we're graduating with I'd say about 409. I had to check. We lost many for various reasons: academics, honor violations, common on sports, and some that just didn't want the Citadel experience, some that just didn't fit that mold. We know that the Citadel is not for everyone. If it were, we'd have 17 battalions. And sometimes as cadets, we always say, it is tougher to quit than to stay. We have a melting pot of seniors here. We have cadets from 40 states and 9 foreign countries. That's the beauty of the Citadel. The fact that we have so many diverse cultures here adds to the bond that the Citadel forms among the cadets. Look at Summerall Chapel. There are 50 flags proudly representing 50 states in the country. And this brotherhood exists no matter where we go, no matter where we may be. I know because when I got my ring in October and I went home over Christmas, I was in Rhode Island, I was in New York City, and I was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I flew to Houston, Texas. And no matter where I went, there was alumni there to shake my hand and to chat and talk about things that people talk about. And if I was in a bar, he bought me a drink. If it was noontime, he bought me lunch. That's the type of brotherhood I'm talking about, and it's there. And the seniors right now are probably saying, oh, here we go again, Dave, talking about brotherhood. Well, you know, I sincerely believe in what the Citadel stands for, and brotherhood is at the top of the list. We have learned here the simple, be it complex saying, a cadet does not lie, cheat, steal, or tolerate those who do. And this principle goes beyond the gates. I remember what General Grimsley told us at a meeting a while back. He said, there is absolutely no substitute for integrity. And I believe he is right. And nowhere else can a young man be trained with this kind of discipline and come to understand the value of honor in the Citadel. We read the newspapers every day. Look what's happened up on Wall Street and in the military sometimes. People's integrity are being tarnished. But I believe with this training that we've had, this 4 years, there is no way, and they'll stop or halt any temptations. In closing, I'd like to thank everyone on behalf of the seniors, and especially the families of the seniors, because we know we couldn't have made it without them. It's quite fitting that tomorrow is Mother's Day. Let's look at graduation as a beginning and not an end. Remember that nothing good or worthwhile comes easy, my grandfather always said to me. The Citadel's unique education will pay off, but only if we strive to achieve our goals. The great General George S. Patton once said, accept the challenges so that we may feel the exhilaration of victory. And let's be sure that we never forget our alma mater, never forget where we came from. And most of all, let's contribute to the brotherhood of the ring. To the general, to the faculty, to the college, and to the underclassmen, we as seniors salute you.
He should have been the graduation speaker. I'll tell the Board of Visitors he'll probably come back for cut rate on the record. He's going to bring back. Thank you very much, Mr. Bass. Well done. cadets who have successfully fulfilled all requirements for their respective degrees will be presented by the Dean of Undergraduate Studies and department heads in the fields of business administration and engineering. Colonel Isaac Metz, Jr., class of 1965, will present the candidates for the degree in arts and sciences. Colonel Krishna Deer will present those candidates majoring in business administration. Colonel Charles Lindbergh, class of 1958, will present those candidates majoring in civil engineering. Colonel Harold Haskins, Jr., class of 1961, will present the candidates majoring in electrical engineering. After these candidates have been presented to Colonel William Risher, Chairman of the Board of Visitors, he will confer all the degrees simultaneously.
Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, please rise. Chairman, sir, it's my distinct privilege, and I'm very proud to present to you these candidates who have completed all of the requirements for the Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering.
Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, please rise. Mr. Chairman, these candidates have completed all the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering. It is my pleasure to present them to you.
Will all candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business Administration please rise. Chairman, it's my pleasure to present these candidates to you who have completed all the prescribed studies for the degree.
The candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, please rise. The candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science, please rise. Mr. Chairman, it is my pleasure to present these candidates who have completed all degrees, all requirements for their respective degree. Would you other gentlemen also rise and join them, please?
By the authority vested in me by the General Assembly of the State of South Carolina, as Chairman of the Board of Visitors, I confer upon each of you the degree for which you have qualified, with all of the duties, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto. My heartiest congratulations and welcome into the greatest fraternity in the world, the association of men who preceded you in receiving this diploma. Congratulations.
When I come to the awarding of diplomas, baccalaureate diplomas will be awarded to the first and second undergraduates. Those two will be followed by our evening college graduates, veteran student graduates, and those graduates who are presently on active duty in the Armed Forces of the United States. These diplomas will be presented to the students in alphabetical order. Graduates who are members of the South Carolina Corps Cadets will then receive their diplomas also in alphabetical order. Commissions and certificates for the armed services will be presented by Colonel John Mary, United States Army, Citadel class 1961. Colonel Myron C. Harrington, Jr., United States Marine Corps, Citadel class of 1960. Colonel Kenneth E. Krause, United States Air Force, graduate of the United States Air Force Academy. One administrative note, parents and loved ones, please. You're requested not to move down in front of the platform to take pictures during the diploma award ceremony. You may take pictures from your seats. A professional photographer will take pictures as each graduating student receives his diploma, and copies of these may be obtained by you. Those candidates receiving diplomas will now come forward, beginning with the first and second undergraduates. Major Mark Beversley, Assistant to the Dean of Undergraduate Studies, will call the name of each student graduating to receive the diploma. first undergraduate is Cadet Joseph Murdoch Sally. The second undergraduate is Cadet Frederick W. Schuler.
Who will receive his diploma from his father. Frederick Wincy Schuler, second undergraduate, summa cum laude, who will receive his diploma from his father. James Edward Bailey III, summa cum laude. Gregson Ashley Bellamy, who will receive his diploma from his father. Thomas M. Edison, cum laude. Molly Thomas Spinelli, cum laude. Anthony Slost, Jr. Robert Arthur Walker, magna cum laude. Roy Edward Adams. Sean Evans Patrick Adams, who will receive his diploma from his father. Thomas Michael Adams. Angelo Anastopoulos. John Charles Anderson. Lane Houston Anderson. Brady Robert Appleton. Dave Lewis Ortiz. Carlos Antonio Avalos. David Sinclair Baker. Blair Linton Baldwin, Jr. Michael Anthony Beloy. Daniel Felder Barber III, who will receive his diploma from his father. I, Michael Barnum. William Randall Bassett, Jr. Robert Dale Bates, Jr. Charles Edwin Bean. David William Beauclair, magna cum laude. Francis Michelle Baudet, cum laude. Michael Allen Bell. Jefferson Dowling Bell. Howell Vault Bellamy, cum laude. Paul Wayne Bennett. Garrett Bernard Benson. William Kenneth Best. John David Bilecki. John Edwin Bircher IV. Mark Eric Black. Jerry L. Blake. Samuel Charles Blanton III. Paul Leslie Flowers, Jr. James Kipling Bowman. Jonathan Strong Boyd. Brandon Eugene Boyles. Kenneth William Grace. Charles Allen Bradshaw. Randolph James Bresnik. William Jennings Broadway. Robert Craig Brodsky. Johannes Uis Brondum. Michael Allen Brown. Richard Chamberlain Legate Brown. Arthur Bruschetti, Jr. Leon Bryant III. Andrew John Buckholz. Jeffrey Blake Burnett. Thomas Leon Burris. Richard John Burton. Stephen Lee Byers. James Darren Byers. George James Bird III. David Bryson Byrne III. William Robert Calamus, Jr. Paul Anthony Calcagno. Jeffrey Neal Kemp. Ronald Lee Campbell. Raul Alberto Carbonell Gonzalez. Scott Anthony Carlin, who will receive his diploma from his father. Christopher Scott Carlson. Mark Allen Carpenter, cum laude. Grant Allen Carroll. Francis Joseph Casey, Jr. Jonathan Darnell Calkin. Keith Matthew Sakati, cum laude. Clinton James Chamness. David Kelly Chapman. Robert Michael Charlin. Robert Alvin Chestnut. Mark Anthony Chisholm. Christopher William Choate. Joel McVeigh Christie. Darrell Wesley Church. James Lamar Clark. Darrell Oliver Clarkson. Thomas Edward Cleaver. Brian Power Klein, cum laude, who will receive his diploma from his father. William Columbus Coffey III, who will receive his diploma from his father. Eddie Jerome Coker. Gino Joseph Colomarino. Richard Bennett Colburn, Jr. Michael Scott Cole. Merriman Clark Calvert III. Christopher Allen Collins. Edward Sean Conroy. Walton Mays Cooper, Jr. Mark Neil Kramer. John Gregory Creech. Michael Carlton Crenshaw, who will receive his diploma from his father. Ronnie Lanier Crosby. John Evans Prout. Harry Razor Colglazier.
All right, Harry.
Thomas Christopher Demise. Ronald Keith Nancy. Dana Allen Danielson. James Allen Danachek. Benjamin Versagi Davis. James Rudolph Davis III, who will receive his diploma from his father. John Davis. Willie John Davis, Jr. Chance Hart Deason. Patrick Robert Deck. Christopher Ragon DeClerc. Joseph Martin Dent. Tyler Clark Dietenbeck, who will receive his diploma from his father. Michael Gerald DeGennaro. Lenny Moore Diggs. Benjamin Dodderer Dixon, who will receive his diploma from his father. James Elliott Dominic. Glenn Michael Donahue. Trent Garrett Donnelly. Robert Smith Dowdle Jr. Thomas Anderson Drake. William Orange Duker II. Michael Scott Dudden. Kevin Hugh Ducker. Daniel O'Connell Duggan. Trevor Ashley Duke. King Solomon Duncan. Robert Ashley Early. David Pinkney Easterling Jr., who will receive his diploma from his father. John Keller Easton II, cum laude. Sean Patrick Agnew. Richard Adams Ellis. Stephen Michael Everett. Greg Milling Fabrizio. Troy Patrick Fahey. Robert Eric Falkenberry. William James Fankhauser. John Franklin Farr III, summa cum laude, who will receive his diploma from his father. Robert Nicholas Charles Felix. Sean Patrick Ferguson. John Paul Tidrich. Jason Earl Floyd. Louis Joseph Foley Jr. Mark Wayne Foltz, who will receive his diploma from his father. Robert Blake Ford. Scott Louis Fournier. William Allen Fox. Robert Kevin Free. Robert George Freyland. Thomas Edward Fruman, magna cum laude. James Bradley Furr. Paul Brian Gale II. Brian Walker Garrison. James Randolph Gasquet. Brian McDowell Gibbons, cum laude. Brian Michael Gill. Paul William Getz. Henry Golovet. Gordon Matthew Gore. Andrew Thomas Governale. David Dwayne Gravermore. Robert Kevin Green. John Michael Griffin. Todd Michael Haggerty. Chesley McKay Hall. Richard Atkinson Hall, Jr. Thomas Bryce Hall. Scott Joseph Morledge Hampton. Woon Chura Han. Henry Wilfred Hankinson III, who will receive his diploma from his father. Christopher Miles Harmon, who will receive his diploma from his father. Ernest Stewart Harris III. Thomas Randolph Harrell. George Rogers Harvey IV. William Christopher Harvey, who will receive his diploma from his father. Seth Allen Hathaway. Douglas Langford Heath. Glenn Anthony Hill. Jerry Randall Hill. William Ira Hobbs IV. John W. Hodgson. William Simon Hoffmeister II. John Thomas Holland. James Cleveland Holmes IV. Joseph Timothy Honan. Joseph Aubrey Hopkins III. Frank Brown Houseman, who will receive his diploma from his father. Todd Wiley Houseman. George Willard Howard III, who who will receive his diploma from his father. Merton Joseph Hudson. Michael Wayne Huff. Ronald William Paul, Jr. James Donald Hunsaker. Joseph Ellerby Huntley, magna cum laude, who will receive his diploma from his father. Richard Henry Hussey III, cum laude, who will receive his diploma from his father. William Kent Pye. Wayne Carl Ingram. Jared Brett Jackson. James Dennis Yelsma. Marvin Y. Chung.
Thank you.
Viraminus Jim Riba. Gordon N. Turkley Joseph. Jameson Riley Johnson. Joseph Paul Johnson. Keith Russell Johnson. Preston West Johnson. Jeff Alton Jones. Vernon Clayton Jones, Jr. Edward John Joyce. Philip Reeves Journey. Matthew Lane Kaufman. Mark Schuyler Keating, magna cum laude. Michael Scott Key. Christopher Patrick Callahan. Wayne Robert Kidd. Michael Lawrence Kirk. Paul Otto Kibbe. Gary Robert Classic. James Schuler Walber. Carl Albert Kleinig III. Raymond Andre Neal. David Andrew Knoll, magna cum laude. Ralph Anthony Koo. Vincent O'Connell Coons, Jr. Brian Scott Kozicki. Scott Allen Kramer. Douglas Norman Prozac. Richard James Kreiner. Adrian Christopher Kress. Bruce Darren LaFlamme. Michael Stephen Lamar. Philip Mitchell Landrum III, cum laude, who will receive his diploma from his father. Matthew Thomas Larkin. James Owen Leckman. Jerome Peter Lee. Stephen Arnold Lee. Joseph Leggett. Charles Roger Levine. Neil Brooks Lewis. James Whiteford Lewis III. Daniel O'Neill Lincoln. Jonathan Robert Little. Thomas Foster Londrigan II. Kevin Bradford Long. Peter Brown Long Jr. Roger D. Long. Todd McGowan Long. Terrence Keith Long. Adrian Thomas Lowndes. Theodore Nichols Lupton. Stewart David Lyman. Timothy James Lynch. John Patrick Mayer. Michael Anthony Marty. Lawrence Paul Martin, who will receive his diploma from his father. Randy Allen Martin. Roy Harold Martin, Jr. Roy Arnold McClellan. James Vincent McGovern, Jr. Joseph George McInerney III, summa cum laude, who will receive his diploma from his father. Patrick Michael McKenna. Jeffrey Lee McKinney. Alan O'Donnell McLeod. Peter Andrew McMillan, cum laude. John Paul Melton, Jr. John Warren Miles. Eric Milo Miller. Mark Mitchell, who will receive his diploma from his father. James Christopher Modulowski. William Stephen Morrison. Charles Eugene Morrow, Jr., cum laude. Lance George Morton. Jackie Lee Mulligan, Jr. Randall George Murray. John Robert Music, who will receive his diploma from his father. Mongol Ad Nannoy. Christopher Robert Nash. Michael Christopher Nelson. William Happy Nelson. Ryan Anson Nesbitt, magna cum laude. James Madison Nolan III. Michael Peter Northrup. James Kevin O'Connor. Robert Charles Odell. Brian Scott Oliver. Brian David O'Neill. Jeffrey Jerome Osborne. Anthony Gregory Outlaw. Todd Walter Overfield. David Patrick Owens. Jeffrey David Owens. John Frederick Owens. Richard Lee Owens, who will receive his diploma from his father. Brandon Newberry Page. John Moss Painter. Eugene Francis Peluso II. Timothy Carroll Parks. Andrew Neville Harlan. David Michael Pasco Jr., magna cum laude. John Byron Cass. Walter Clayton Pate Jr. Robert Stokes Patterson. Brian Hayes Peeler. Larry Miles Peoples. John Robert Kelzarski. Jason Emmett Caracas. Lee Troy Petrolavich. Scott William Shancook. James Boyce Phillips, Jr. Samuel Benjamin Phillips III. Stephen Lamar Phillips, Jr. Michael Brian Pyle. Patrick Stevenson Pittsford. David Andrew Platt. William David Posey. Tony Terrell Preston. David Fincher Price, who will receive his diploma from his father. Christopher Michael Hall. Anthony Joseph Rappo, Jr., who will receive his diploma from his father. Louis Bernard Rago II. Stephen Thomas Ramos. Marjorie Dixon Ramsor IV. Solomon A. Ramsey. James Buell Randall. James John Gerard Rank. David Wayne Reddick. Sean Brunson Reed. Stephen Derrick Rain. Philip Stephen Reitner III. Brian Kims Rodar. Kyle Robert Richard cum laude. Thomas Christopher Ritchie. Dale Bellamy Rivers. Stacy Earl Robinson, magna cum laude. Donald Arthur Rossi. William Edward Rozier.
Thank you very much, sir. Take care.
Matthew Charles Edward Rosisco.
Houston's bro.
Christopher Allen Rubino. William Jamel Rutland. Henry Clinton Samuels. David Stephen Saulnier. George Irwin Saulnier, Jr. Douglas Matthew Schauer. Herbert Carter Scott. John Charles Seeley, Jr. Daniel Roy Satala, Jr. Mark Christopher Shade. Michael Daniel Sheehan. John William Silkman. Charles Ricky Simmons.
Thank you, sir.
Sean Darren Sinclair. James Craig Syke, who will receive his diploma from his father. William Alexander Sisk, cum laude. Christoph Sibaram. David Randall Smith. Doyle Cecil Smith. Floyd Henry Smith. George Franklin Smith III. Joel Patrick Smith. Kevin Michael Smith. Matthew James Smith. Joseph Collins Snifke. Rodney Leroy Soul. Robert Allen Sorrentino. Edward Thomas Southward. Rodney D. Spivey. David Lee Sprinkle. William Asbury Stevens II. James Patrick Stevens, Jr. Sir Eric Stewart. Michael Anthony Straderi. Robert Madison Strickland, Jr. William Marshall Swales. Paul Richard Tamburino. Franklin Jerome Tate, Jr. Anthony Sedaris Terrell. George Frank Thomas. Terry Luther Thompson. Frederick Lee Tillman, Jr. Thomas Hiram Cobb, III. Heath Allen Travis. Daniel Richard Trossel. Andrew Craig Tunstall. Rhett Lee Turner. Russell John Cuddy. Mark Anthony Vaccaro. Richard Willard Manuel. Joseph Alfred Vasquez, cum laude. Robert Roland Erdnall, Jr., who will receive his diploma from his father. Joseph Michael Veraki. Kevin Maxwell Vickery. John Paul Vivola, Jr. Richard Stephen Von Holland. Marion Walker, Jr. Patrick Lawrence Wall. Robert Allen Walters, Jr. Buddy Carl Ward. Clyde Keith Warren, Jr. John Andrew Wasco. Stephen Susumu Watai. James MacArthur Watkins, Jr. Duncan Clyde Watson. David John Weaver. Henry Elliott Webb III. Joel Darby Welch. Mark Warren West, who will receive his diploma from his father. Michael Arnold Westfall. James Barry Whalen. Ashley Cooper White, who will receive his diploma from his father. Richard Woodward White, Jr. Gregory Ken Williams. James Vincent Williams. Richard Gerald Williams, Jr. Wilson McCune Williams, Jr. Curtis Lee Williamson III. Charles Wynn Wilson, Jr. Homer Jonathan Reed Wilson. William Clarence Wilson, Jr. Edward Madison Winslow, who will receive his diploma from his father. Roger Barnwell Witherspoon II. Robert William Wood, cum laude, who will receive his diploma from his father. Christopher Allen York. Brian Douglas Young, cum laude. Joseph Cook Young. Richard Hampton Young. Peter Paul Swarrick, Jr.
to thank the General and Mrs. James A. Gridley. We will surely miss them. We hope they have continue on doing what they like to do. That's a derogatory with that remark, please. I'd like to thank the faculty and the staff of this school. And of course, I'd like to congratulate the graduating class of 1989. But above all, I would like to thank the mothers and fathers of each cadet here, not only the graduating seniors, but the cadets still enrolled in the school, yet to graduate. I'm sure you'll find that inside many of the rings of the graduating seniors. Thanks, mother and father. Thanks, mom and dad. And without their support, I can truly say, me in particular, I would not have made it. I can't speak for everybody. So, in departing, I'd also like to mention, for us to keep in our hearts, Cadet Dave Myers, who will not be graduating with us today, and of course others who will not be graduating. And in conclusion, congratulations once again to the class of 1989, the best class in the year.
At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Douglas Levy, President of the Association of Civil Men, to say a word or two. Mr. Levy, Mr. President.
Gentlemen of the class of 1989, for 4 years you've heard alumni tell you what life was like in the old Corps. Well, now you finally know. You just became members of the old Corps. You can see that you are Citadel men, class of 1989. Thank you.
Will the audience please rise for the singing of the Citadel alma mater.
And now may the Lord bless all of you here this morning, and particularly those of you in the class of 1989. And may the Lord lift up his face upon all of you, you who are special now.
In our class of 89, let's do it.